SpicySalsaPodcast, which bit of a slow news week. Well, until the Nintendo Direct, but we're not going to talk about that too much because I already did my review and thoughts on the Nintendo Direct. So if you're interested in that at all, that's on the channel right now. So yeah, but today we've got Dragon Ball Action RPG announcement. That was actually announced like right after the last podcast ended, so that always sucks. But hey, I do the podcast every 2 weeks, just about, so that's what you get for doing it every 2 weeks, I guess. A few special edition announcements. We've got a Catherine special edition that was announced yesterday and went on pre-order yesterday. Fire Emblem special edition that was announced at the Nintendo Direct. And Persona Q2 special edition. And then Apex Legends came out I was like right after the last podcast too, so we're going to talk about some Apex Legends, give my thoughts on it, show some of my own gameplay of me just not doing good. I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot better. I've actually had a good 7, 8, maybe even almost 10 victories at this point. And then Crackdown 3. My thoughts on that now that it's out. Haven't played it, so I'm not giving like a review or anything, but it's going to be more of like what the critics are saying, what people are saying, and if my stance on it has changed since that video that I made got so much traction. But anyway, I'm going to get the standby off the screen, and let's just jump into it here. We'll start with the Dragon Ball Action RPG. So I actually was fairly prepared this time. I've had a little bit of extra time lately. It's unfortunate the one time I have extra time, my window's still broken. So, but yeah, so we got this announcement for this Dragon Ball, what are they calling it? Dragon Ball Game Project Z Action RPG. Jesus Christ. So obviously they'll change the name, but my initial thought on it was like, it looks beautiful. Like, just look at that. My God, some of these pictures just blow my fucking... This one really blew my mind, but you can't see it well there. But anyway, yeah. So it looks like we're getting like a Dragon Ball Z RPG action. I mean, it's exactly what it says. It is being developed by CyberConnect 22, which, if I remember correctly, is the same people that made... Or CyberConnect 2, is that it? Yeah. The same people that made the Naruto, right? Shippuden games. Or, oh, they actually made Ultimate Ninja. I didn't realize that. The Ninja Storm. There you go. That's what I was looking for. The Ultimate Ninja Story games, which are all phenomenal games, pretty much. Yeah, and I usually don't show trailers, but I just thought I'd pull up the trailer just to give you some little pictures and stuff. It looks just fucking gorgeous. I'm actually really optimistic about this. I don't think it's gonna suck. I'm looking at the comments here, and like, there's actually a lot of negative ones. Obviously, the like-dislike is pretty solid there. And I'm watching this trailer through this person, so I don't know if they are supposed to upload it, but whatever. It's on YouTube, so... And like, this person says, I didn't see anything special. Do we have to play through the story again? It's like, well, yeah, I mean, that's Dragon Ball. I mean, how often, that's all right. If it's a different type of Dragon Ball game, I'm okay with playing through the story again. I love the Dragon Ball story. Obviously, I've played through it a billion times throughout all the Dragon Ball iterations or whatever. But, oops, sorry. Like, I don't know. I saw some more, like, negative V kind of. But, yeah. No, I don't agree with that, sir. It's a teaser trailer. They're not supposed to show all the gameplay yet. They were showing scenery, clearly. Whatever. Anyways, I'm not going to rant about people in the comments section. So, there was some negative ones. Dragon Ball is one of those things that it's had, like, so many different types of Dragon Ball games. It seems like no matter what they do, not everyone's happy, almost like the Sonic the Hedgehog thing, because it's like, basically, you've had the Tenkaichi games, so people are like, I want another Tenkaichi game with a ton of characters. And then you've had the Budokai games, so people are like, I want the old, like, Dragon Ball Budokai 3 is the best Dragon Ball game ever. or I just want a straight up Dragon Ball fighting game like Fighters. I want a MMO style, create your own character, fan fiction Xenoverse kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. Let them do something different. Let them do this. This looks beautiful. So I'm thinking that that picture is just so cool. Goku and Piccolo there. I'm to me, and a lot of people have been saying this. It looks very Legacy of Goku. They don't show anything beyond Frieza, so I'm assuming that yeah, it's only gonna go up to the Frieza saga, which I know in the past sounds really disappointing. Like when you play a Dragon Ball game, you're like, I want all the characters, right? Well, as long as they can find a way to extend the game to make it longer and not make it boring when they do extend the game, it's okay if it only goes up to the Frieza saga. Like Dragon Ball Z Attack of the Saiyans on the DS is a perfect example of that. That's a great game, and it only goes up to Vegeta. But they insert a lot of things in the middle. I mean, it's still short, but they still insert a lot of things in the middle to like make it interesting without giving away all the Dragon Ball characters. They should have made another one of those, by the way. They never did. Though that was a really good game. But anyway, so yeah, I'm thinking like I'm actually extremely optimistic. I don't think this is gonna suck. Just looking at the images already, I'm like, nah, there's no way. It's one of those games that I'm like, I don't think this could suck. Yes, we need to see gameplay, but I trust CyberConnect 2. They've never had an issue with gameplay that I can think of. Like, but man, I really wish I could just play the video, but I don't want to get the big old copyright strike. So, yeah, I think it'll be phenomenal. But anyways, moving right along, let's go into these special editions that got announced. Quite a bit of them. I've got all of them. There's probably more special editions out there. I'm really focusing on the ones that I'm interested in because I don't really know about ones I'm not interested in. So, whatever. And I'm just going to go through, like, if I think they're worth it. And I'm getting them all anyways. Now, first of all, we got Persona Q2s. So, Persona Q2 Premium Edition was finally announced. We're finally getting this game. Actually, just the game was announced for the West. It's been out in Japan. Persona Q is not my favorite, like, game. It's really hard, too. I haven't beat it because it's actually really hard. The first one. And I assume this is no different. If you don't know what Persona Q is, it's basically just a collaboration of Persona 3 and 4 characters. Now this one's going to add the 5 characters along with 3 and 4, so you can see them there. And the girl from 3. So that's 3 portable, which is cool because that's the first one I really got into. And this is running for $70, I think is what it was on Amazon. I don't have the number on me right now. Can we get it here? Can we take a look here? Is it on Amazon? Yeah, $70 with the Prime. So, like $7 shipping if you... So let's take a look at what you get with it. So you get the game. You get this cool, like, giant box, of course, which I actually have the Persona Q original box. I imagine it looks like it's about the same size, so it's a decent size. It's pretty good. Tiny enough that it'll fit on your shelf, not too big that you're like, God, that's stupid big. You get this Koromaru plush, which is, in my opinion, the best thing. Probably the most expensive that they had to make, maybe besides the art book, because art books can get expensive depending on how they do them. A set of 4 buttons. Now, that comes with the launch edition, too. So, if you look here, like, here's the launch edition. So that's not, like, really a big deal to me. The playing cards, which I'm not a fan of getting playing cards a lot, but these look cool. Like I love the animated pictures on them. Like those look really cool, and I actually need a new set of playing cards, personally anyway. But that's just me. So like, that might not be for everyone. And then of course the art book, which I don't. It doesn't say how big the art book is. I wonder if it says on the Amazon site. But while I'm looking this up, I suppose my the reason I show off these special editions and I put them on the podcast is not just to be like, oh, like, I'm getting this, cool. Fuck all you. Like, no. I'm showing it because I want to give my thoughts on whether it's worth it based on the price. Now, I've bought in special editions that are not worth it based on price. I bought the Halo 5 special edition. Was not worth it, but I'm such a big fan of Halo, I did it anyway. So, I will buy a special edition regardless of whether it's worth it or not, depending on the series. So, I'm going to give my thoughts as a Persona fan and just as a gamer, whether it's worth it or not. So I'm just looking for the art book, though. Let's see. Art book. Oh well. It doesn't say. Now Persona Q1's art book came with it. So since I can't find the art book picture link really quickly, and I don't want to waste your time on the podcast or if you're watching this on YouTube, let's just assume it's like the shittiest type of art book possible you could get with one of these, because I've gotten some shitty art books with special editions. Here, let's assume that it's like the worst kind. I've gotten art books that are 4 pages long. Now, I know it's going to be better than that because it's Atlas, but we're going to let's assume the worst. It's a 4-page art book. Even so, for $70, now the game's usually $40, and then pins, I'm not even going to put a price on those because that's like nothing. A deck of cards probably usually costs like, let's find out. Sorry, I'm doing so much searching. No, this is what I want. Oh my god, Amazon, I can't believe you. Here's a deck card. Now, this is a... Oh my god, that's a pack of 12 for fucking... So, I don't know, let's say... I'm trying to think. At Target, we probably sell them for like $5. Yeah, that sounds about right. But that's for 2. So maybe we'll be generous there too. We'll say $3. So, $40 game. $3... What would be a $3 deck of cards. So you're up to $43. That's not very good when you think it's $70. Plushies. Now this, I'm going to say usually runs for like $13. So that would raise it up to about $54, $55-ish. And then let's assume, like I said, the worst, that this is like a 3-page art book. That's probably like $1. So, I actually thought I was, like, in my head, I was thinking, like, no, this one's, like, really worth it. But now that I'm looking at that, based on that, I don't know, not so much price-wise. Like, once again, let's go back and let's assume the art book is, like, at least 20 pages. I think that's a good, solid-sized 3DS-style art book. It's probably a good, I don't know, what would you say a 20-page art book is? $10, maybe? Because art books can cost a lot just based on the fact that they color them. And so then you're up to like $65-ish. So maybe it's a little overpriced. I don't know. I guess you do get the box too, but that's not really. So is this one worth it? Personally, I think as a Persona fan, yes. Because you're paying a little extra for a deck of cards. You're paying a little extra for maybe, once again, the art book, we don't really know. And you're paying probably normal price for the plush, which is really good. Because, especially if it's a Persona plush, that shit can get expensive. Then you do get a set of pins. Yeah. I think as a Persona fan, paying an extra, assuming, once again, the art book's either 4 to 20 pages... which I said would be maybe like $3 to $10. So paying an extra, what would it be? I'm doing all this math in my head right now. $8 to $5. That's not right. Paying an extra $13 to $5. Yeah, that's something like that. I'm doing all this math in my head quickly. Not bad. when you're paying for the Persona name. Once again, for me, I looked at this, I was like, 70, that ain't shit for this. So, like, I'm buying that right away. As a casual gaming fan, if you're interested in Persona, if you're interested in, like, special editions, looking to buy this or stuff, I honestly can't necessarily recommend it. I only recommend it for the fact that Persona is a great series, and in the future, you might become a Persona fan and wish you had got this originally, especially since it's not super expensive. Like, let's be real. Even though it's maybe a just slightly overpriced special edition because it's a 3DS game, it's still only $70, which is $10 more than like a normal retail priced, console game. So I recommend it based on that, but I don't know if I can recommend this to anybody who's not really a Persona fan, especially since the game itself tailors to Persona fans. It's kind of like a Persona All-Stars game thing, Yeah. So, is it worth it? Only if you're a Persona fan. But that doesn't necessarily mean I don't recommend it, is what I'm trying to say. If that sounded a little confusing at all. Let's move on to the next one. Since we got it's going to be the special edition podcast. Spicy Salsa Podcast episode 10 special edition. That's what this is. Let's go with Catherine, actually. Fire Emblem's the next one. Let's go with Catherine. So Catherine, this one was announced yesterday. You're getting this collector's box, which is like, the brick walls that, or whatever, the squares in the nightmare dungeons that Vincent pushes around. And you're getting a sheet plush, so there's another plush. I'm going to assume that's a good... It doesn't say how big it is, so sometimes plushes can be like $6, depending on, like, size. But let's just assume this is another $12, $13 when we get to that point. Now, this kind of sucks, and we'll get to why that is in a minute. It's cool, but... yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I'll explain in a moment. So, to me, you're getting a soundtrack here, and then this hardcover art book looks fucking cool. The artwork there, just, like, that, and then I saved the best for last, though, the steel book. Like, oh my god, that looks fucking sweet. Like, that is the coolest. I don't have a lot of, like, or any, I'm looking at my game collection right now, like, to the side. I don't have, like, any, pinkish, girly kind of things, or even anything quite this adult, I would say. I don't have any, like, adulty, if you know what I mean, things in my game collection. But this stylistic art, I want to see it up, like, I want to hold it, just because, like, the picture here is kind of blurry. I can't even, like, zoom in and make it look nice. But that looks fantastic. So this one is running for... What was this one? Catherine, what is it called? What are they calling this thing? Is it the, like, fuck my ass edition? Oh, Heart's Desire edition. We'll go on Amazon and see how much they're selling that for. Now, I did... this is what I want. Here's what we'll do. Catherine video game. Sorry, I should have wrote the prices down on these beforehand. I did look them up, but I know the Fire Emblem one. But what the fuck? Why can't I get this shit? Oh, I'm in the Kindle store. So Catherine, full body. Can't find it. So here's the launch edition of the game, $60. The special edition, which the premium, $80. So just like Persona. It actually, you get about the same amount of stuff. Now, they are both Atlas games, so that kind of makes sense. So for $80, you get about the same amount. Persona Q doesn't have a soundtrack. The art book here looks a little bigger, but it is like a console game. So is this worth it? Now, for me, the moment let's be real. Anytime I see an Atlas game that's related to Shin Megami Tensei, which don't forget, Catherine is related to Shin Megami Tensei. They don't put that in the title, but originally that was what they had said for when the first one came out. I do have the special edition for the first one that I bought way back when that came out. Catherine's a good game. The box is cool. I don't know. I can't put a price on that because it's really just cardboard at the end of the day. The metal case is awesome. I would pay, like, let's say somebody's like, do you want the regular just little box or do you want the metal case for an extra $10? I would honestly pay an extra $10 for this steelbook. That's just me, but Sheet Plus, we're going to give that a 13. The game itself, of course, 60 because it is a PS4. So, a soundtrack, once this in, something about that sucks. We'll get to that in a moment. And then the hardcover art book. So, once again, let's assume that the art book is the shittiest. I doubt it. I mean, just look at that. And let's say it's like a 4-page art book, so we'll say that's a couple dollars. Give me a moment here. There. You probably just heard my voice go through twice because I turned the podcast on my phone. But anyways, so that's a couple dollars. That's 13. That's the steelbook. What would you say? Like an extra... We'll say an extra 5. We'll be generous. I don't want to like over-exaggerate. And then the soundtrack, which, to be honest, soundtrack, probably like $2. And once again, we'll get to that. I know I keep saying that, but we will. So for $60, and then maybe this combined 5, this being like 12 for a plush, and this being about 5. That's pretty worth it. It's actually, now that I thought Persona Q2 was the most worth it, but now comparing it to Catherine, I'm thinking like, no, actually Catherine's probably the most worth special edition of today. Even though it doesn't come with quite as much, like, you know, soundtrack's tangible, but it's really just songs at the end of the day. Yeah, because that would be, so 60 for the game, 12 here for the sheet plush, which would be, that's already $72 for an $80 special edition. This may be 5. Like I said, 77. Do I have that math? I'm so bad at math. And then like 3. So that's about $80 almost flat. And once again, I'm being generous with the art book. Remember that. This art book, this one I thought it said, when I was looking, I thought it said 40-page art book, which is fairly big. I'm not seeing it here either. Where the fuck do they list the art book? Shit. Whatever. Anyways, here's the thing that sucks, though. Now, Japan got their Catherine Special Edition. Now, look at this. Now, ours isn't much greater. Like, this, for example, I don't care about that. Now, what this is, you're probably wondering, where my mouse is here, is they're these, like, it's this little novelty, like, glasses thing, but it came with 2 DLC codes. Now, I don't know what the DLC codes are, but I'm going to assume that our version is going to have those DLC anyway. Their case is kind of cool because their steelbook, our steelbook is basically the box that it comes in. So they don't get like, come on, this little box here, right? The square box thing. They get the steelbook as their box, and it's a much smaller box. Now their art book looks a little different. I'm hoping it has all the same artwork. That I can't confirm, so we can't really give a number on that. Let's just assume the contents inside are the same, and the picture of Catherine on the front here is the only thing that's different. They do get a different case cover, so if that's something you're interested in. But really, all that stuff is give or take, right? We still get the art cover. It's just on our steelbook instead. We still get the art book. We're just assuming that the front cover is different. Obviously, we still get the game. The case is different, but that's just a slip case. That's not a huge deal because, once again, we got that steelbook. And we are getting, technically, something they're not, which is the collector's box. It doesn't look that great. The one part that really sucks is what I was referring to before, the soundtrack. This has 4 CDs. I'm willing to bet that our soundtrack, and this is why I gave it a $2 pricing, $2 to $3 is because this is an arranged soundtrack. Now, I hate it when Atlas does this, and a lot of companies do. I know that it would cost more. I'd rather just pay for the full soundtrack flat out. Now, oftentimes you can buy these soundtracks online. Like when we were looking at Persona Q2 on Amazon, I immediately noticed here, the soundtrack. Has the full soundtrack. Very expensive because it's an import, but it's there. I don't know if Catherine's getting a full soundtrack, so that might be the only way to get it is this Japanese special edition. I hope they release it later separately. But yeah, overall, yes, the Catherine one is worth it, and it's worth it if you've never played Catherine. It's worth it if you're not a Catherine. Well, if you hate Catherine, don't get it. But when I say not a fan, I mean you're just not like a hardcore Catherine fan, but maybe you've played it or you've heard of it. And I'd say go ahead and get this one. This one's really good. I think that the Steelbook just sells it for me. I mean, Jesus Christ, that is the coolest fucking... I got to compare all my Steelbooks someday. That'd be a fun video to do. Just compare. I'm a sucker for Steelbooks. I know it's overdone, but I really am. I'm a sucker for really good Steelbooks. But yeah. So, let's pause for a moment. How far are we into the podcast here? I don't even know how to tell. I don't even know how to tell. Let's view my down. About half an hour in. We've talked about a lot of special editions today. Like I said, slow news week with the exception of a couple things. And we'll get to those things. We're going to do one more special edition and move on to some actual news. So, Fire Emblem. They did some big announcements. I'm just going to give my quick thoughts. It looks awesome. Because I had already given my thoughts for the Nintendo Direct review that I did. So, quickly a recap. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks like Fire Emblem, but they're doing what Fire Emblem does best, and that's like somehow changing it to make it still Fire Emblem, but like a different overall theme. And this one's schools. Some people were calling it Fire Emblem Hogwarts, which I guess is somewhat accurate. Super excited. I think it's going to be an amazing Fire Emblem game. But special edition. What do we got here? So, with this one, and this picture's not the greatest here, we get a 2020 calendar. It's kind of okay. I like calendars, but it looks really small. I'm not going to use it. And they wear out. I mean, obviously, after 2020, it's done. Soundtrack. Now, this says sound selection. So we know for sure this is not the full soundtrack. This is this arranged set of songs. Art book also looks pretty good. I have the Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia Special Edition. And that art book's pretty good. It's not one of my favorites, but it's good. So I'm hoping that follows that enough. And then the Steelbook, which is also really an awesome looking fucking Steelbook. I think that's like the god they worship in this Fire Emblem or something. And then the box is really cool too. But once again, we don't really put a price on the box. Now, I love Fire Emblem, so I am getting this. If you are a Fire Emblem fan, I think this is just barely enough. However, price. Let's talk about that. I'm going to look this up real quick. I know what it is, but before I say it, I'm going to get it. Oh, you know what? I forgot. This shit sold out on Amazon right fucking away and everywhere else. Like, I was on the internet. I got lucky. I did get my copy pre-ordered. I happened to be on my phone, and I follow Nintendo Wire, and they were just like, there was a tweet that said 46 seconds ago, Fire Emblem's up on Amazon. So I was like, Josh, go! Get on your phone, go, whatever. And we got it. That shit sold out on Best Buy in 4 minutes. And Walmart, I think it was like 10 the last time I checked. It's selling out super quickly. funny because the other Fire Emblems did not sell out this fast. I still see. I know it's a side game, but I still see the Fire Emblem Warriors Special Edition lying around at game stores sometimes. But since you can't see the price here, know that it was $100. Now, we just saw Catherine that's the Japanese one, but still, saw Catherine $80. And you get, in my opinion, better stuff. You get a plush, no calendar. Art book's the same. Soundtrack's still a select one, so that's about the same. For the Catherine one, the plush is really what it... Persona, deck of cards, and plush. Steelbook with 2 of them. Persona doesn't have a steelbook. But once again, Persona's only $70. Now, that one's a 3DS game, so about $30 more than what you'd normally pay for a 3DS game. This one's $40 more. Catherine is $20 more. I honestly don't think this is worth it from a casual gamer perspective. Once again, if you're a Fire Emblem fan, I think the art book and the steelbook are enough to sucker you in. It was enough to sucker me in. I just get all the Fire Emblem special editions because I'm such a huge fan of the series. I'm afraid that if it is a big special edition, someday in the future I won't be able to get my hands on it super cheap. So this one is going to be scalped. I'm sure that it probably already is. I literally saw a scumbag fucking tweet on Twitter. Some dude said, "Yo, I got 3 of them." And then someone responded by saying 3? And then he said, "Yeah, so I can sell 2 on eBay." And then someone else said, or the same guy responded by saying, like, "Wow, okay, like, what? That's kind of a scummy move, but money, I guess." And then the guy's like, "Not really, it's capitalism. Like, I have mortgage and car to pay off," or whatever. So yeah, this game's gonna get scalped, and this is like the least worth it special edition. Now, Fire Emblem's the most prestigious like series, I would argue, out of Persona and Catherine and Fire Emblem. But it's actually the least worth it, just based on the fact the calendar expires, the sound selection is just a selection. So you're really only getting 2 top quality items, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, the songs on here, there will be plenty, and they will be good. Like, it's, good Fire Emblem music, but not something you jam out to, per se. But, no, go away. Not now, Windows. Yeah, like, when I was pre-ordering these, because I pretty much pre-ordered them all pretty quickly. Persona Q, I guess I pre-ordered last week, but I had it in my mind. The moment this one popped up, I was like, boom, Fire Emblem, and then my Amazon counts like, you're gonna owe $100 and whatever dollars, and I was like, woo, for that? Wow, okay. I don't remember what Shadows of Valentia came with, and Fire Emblem is one of those kind of niche series. I didn't mean to do that, but still, it's not niche anymore. I don't know, man. I'm buying it because I'm a sucker. Bottom line. This is why I'm making this on the podcast. This is why I'm making this video. Is it worth it? No. But if you're a Fire Emblem fan and you don't want to miss out on special things like this, I say go ahead and get it, because it probably will actually be worth a lot, even though the stuff here you get is, like, not great. But I think from a value collector standpoint, someday in the future, like, wow, it's really hard to find the fucking Three Houses Steelbook or something. So it's worth it in the sense that it's going to sell a lot. But really when I'm thinking, like, and because it has the Fire Emblem, like, name, and it's a special edition of a niche series but when I think about it, like, imagine the Fire Emblem name wasn't there. This is just a normal game for $100. No, this is not worth it. This is not worth it. But I'm buying it, so I'm not blaming you if you are or anything. I'm a sucker for it too, because I love Fire Emblem. And if you're a casual fan, never played Fire Emblem, interested in Fire Emblem, blah, 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 just like I said with Persona Q, I can't recommend this one. The only one I can recommend from casual fans, like I had said. If you're watching this on YouTube, it was probably my previous video. If you're watching this on stream, I said it a little bit earlier. Is Catherine. Not this Catherine, that's the Japanese one. This one. This is the only one I could really recommend to like a casual, like interested Catherine, maybe played it, seen it, whatever, but I might want this special edition. Yeah, get that one. This, nah. Sorry, Fire Emblem. But anyways, let's move along. Switch gears, whatever. We'll talk about Apex and we'll talk about Crackdown. And that'll finish out the show. Let's talk about Apex a little bit. Now, this came out. I'm sure a lot of people have already given their thoughts. I'm not expecting this like video to get like high views or anything like that. This came out. It was probably like a few days after the last podcast ended, and let's make sure the sound's off. Here's some gameplay of me. I was playing with a couple buddies of mine. And this is from my Twitch stream, by the way. And it's really good. I like it a lot. I'm not huge into the Battle Royale craze, but I am like level 27, something like that in this game. Which if you've played this game, like obviously isn't the highest level. I saw somebody that was level 90 yesterday. I'm like, oh my god. But it's pretty significant. Like that's a lot of hours. Origin claims that I put 70 hours into it, but something tells me that's not true because my friend here at the bottom here, Vackleton, he's like level 40 something, and it said he's put like an hour more into me, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So I think the Origin hour counter is broke. But what's great about this game? Like here's where it separates itself from Fortnite and Blackout, or like does them both a little better. In regards to Fortnite, I think that they get the team aspect down very well. Like Fortnite, you can obviously play in teams, but this one is like full-blown team game. They took that from Overwatch for sure. Like they want you to communicate, and they're like, even if you don't want to use a microphone, you can click your mouse anywhere. If you have the scroll wheel, you can click that anywhere and like point out enemies like I just did. You see that 45 meters? Like I think I just did that a little bit ago where I clicked my mouse and I was like, enemy there. Like the amount of like me whiffing my shots there. The amount of like communication level in game that doesn't require you to use a microphone is insane. You can be like, supply package over there hasn't been opened yet. Enemies coming this way. Let's move over here. I'm being shot from this way. It's insane. The in-game communication, like if you're not social, this is probably the best multiplayer experience you could get in terms of like using communication without having to actually communicate. Now, we won that game. Now you can actually get what was I gonna say? Sorry, I lost my train of thought because it's still better to communicate in this game. Like that's always just gonna be a thing with multiplayer games. Like you want to communicate, right? But I'm just saying that if that's your thing, that's there. Those are some of the pros. I'd say another pro compared to Blackout is like when you're replacing good items, like the game just does it automatically, unlike Blackout, which is kind of so like let's say like you want a better backpack to carry more items. If you already have a backpack that's better, and that's the stream lagging, by the way, that's not your computer. We'll get to that in a minute. Like if you want a better backpack, and you find one, the game will be like, oh, don't pick this one up. You have a better one. It won't even let you pick up a worse backpack. So that's awesome. I don't recall Blackout doing that. I had a lot of issues in Blackout being like, do I need to pick this up? Do I need to pick that up? Like, what am I doing? Like, Jesus. This game's really simple. Once you figure it out, it's pretty simple to get used to. It's extremely aggressive. Very, very aggressive Battle Royale game. And, yeah, so that's a lot of the pros there. It plays more like Call of Duty. Like you can see me running around here, picking up weapons. This stream was really scuff. Wasn't at first. Yikes, yikers. We'll go back to the nice little gameplay at the beginning. And it's a first person shooter at heart in regards to that. But you have all these different characters. They have their different abilities, just like Overwatch. They have ults even. And let's move into some of the cons, I guess. So, like, one thing you saw there. This, wait for it to load here. Streaming quality. Not good. And my computer's not the most powerful thing in the world. It can run this game pretty well. I have all my graphics in the game and everything like on low settings just because it's like a competitive game, so I tend to do that. I got wrecked there. I've noticed this with a lot of people. Like, Vac here has a really good computer. He's had streaming issues. This game, for some reason, does not stream well. And it actually is a common problem. I promise you. Like, it's not my computer. Let's look it up. I've seen forum posts and everything. No, that's not what I want. Yeah, FPS drops. Apex, but still, I don't know. Or whatever. I'm not doing a good job making my case here. But basically, I have seen some forum posts. Like, I promise it's not my, my stream. No other game of mine does this. I have no issues with any other game, no matter the console. If I'm using my capture card on like a PS2 game, if I'm streaming a game straight from my computer, whether it's like a newer game like Overwatch, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, whatever. This game just does not stream very well right now. I don't know why that is. I've seen a lot of forum posts saying like, do this, turn VSync off, do this and that. And nothing really seems to work. There are some things that made slight improvements, but nothing major enough. Like some of this stream you're watching here is just ugly. I'm like, there's no way my computer's that bad. Like, this game looks good, but it doesn't look that good. So I don't, there's a lot of bugs in the game still too. Like, it's crashed a lot, things like that. But I very much akin this to like Pokemon Go when it first came out. Yeah, there's a fuck ton of like bugs, some of them game breaking, but there's enough, it's finished enough and there's enough good things for it to still be extremely fun. Yikes, this stream is just, ugh. But anyway, those are my thoughts on Apex Legends. If you haven't played it, it is free. Go play it. I think it's awesome. I've been playing the shit out of it. It's like the only thing I've been streaming recently besides, some normal Overwatch. And obviously I can't stream my console games because the Windows... Oh, I got a yawn. There it is, the obligatory yawn. Because of my Windows situation still. Alright. Finally. Crackdown 3. I said it. I called it. I said, well, I'm going to split it up. I'm going to be fair. We're going to go where I was right on Crackdown 3 and where I was wrong. So, I will say the multiplayer hasn't really been reviewed yet. So, I'm holding off some thoughts, but so far on the story of Crackdown, and the reviews should mostly be up, this. Not so good. If you remember my video, which is not one of my most viewed videos, by the way. Where's it at? Crackdown 3, disappointment? Question mark. Click on the video. For a while there, it had 4 dislikes and 0 likes. Now it's up to 5 and 4. It's from my episode 8, SpicySalsaPodcast. Somebody left a comment there, responded. And at first I was thinking, like, maybe it won't be bad. A lot of these people have faith in it. That was the first time I've had that many dislikes. It's the first time that the like to dislike ratio was not in my favor, as far as I know, on a video. And I figured like maybe that would happen, because people don't like to be told their game is going to suck. Well, I said, if I recall correctly, that this game would be good, just not great. It's going to be like a No Man's Sky kind of thing, although No Man's Sky, I don't even know if I'd consider that good at the beginning, where people just have too much expectations for it. Once again, there was some serious red flags, I reiterate, with this game coming out, okay? Microsoft didn't advertise it anywhere. Like, when I tell people Crackdown 3 comes out February 15th, like a month ago, they're like, it does? Every time I said that, that's the response I got. Yeah, it comes out next month. How could you forget? Because they don't advertise it anywhere. Why would they not advertise it anywhere? Because that means they don't have faith in it. That's what that tells me. You know what else tells me they don't have faith? When the game company constantly releases trailers, Sumo Digital, and I guess Elbow Rocket, I don't know who that is, but when they constantly release trailers that don't show normal core gameplay, they're all very cinematic trailers, and either that or they're Terry Crews. That tells me they're afraid to show their game because they know the moment they show some gameplay, people are going to be like, "Ew, that looks boring, that looks mediocre, that doesn't look great, blah, 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 blah." I did say more than likely this would probably get 6 out of 10s. I don't know how Metacritic works enough to know if that's what the 6 means, but I will say this. Overall, having an average score of 60 out of 100, I was pretty right on the dot there. That's where I was right. I was right that this is probably the big disappointing game of this year. It's not good for Xbox. Everyone forgot about it, it seems. The reviews are just coming out, and no one seems to care or want it necessarily. I'm sure it'll sell okay. And it's mediocre. That's the gist I'm getting from reading. I've read a few reviews now. There's a few positives, like, 5, whatever, however, I don't really go for the whole aggregate review site thing where it's like, wow, 60, wow. Like, no. Read a couple reviews. Read what some people say, and just see, like, different things they say, common things they have in terms of gripes with the games, or whatever. So here's where I was wrong. I said it would be good. I said it would be, and to me, like, 6 out of 10 is still, like, a good game. It's just a little above average. I think that's good. 7 out of 10 is, like, gooder, and then 8 out of 10 is great, and then 9 out of 10 is fucking awesome, and then 10 out of 10 is just amazing, perfect, whatever. That's kind of where I go. I know some people are like, 6 out of 10, aw. But 6 out of 10 games, some of them are good. Like, there's a lot of 6 out of 10 games that I would personally give a 6 out of 10, not just based on what the critics say, but I would personally give a 6 out of 10 and say, look at the user score even. That's interesting. Usually, when reviewers are shitting on the game, a lot of people try to reverse it and be like, no, it's good. No, the user scores aren't even good here. So I don't follow user scores too much because, some of them just aren't. People give critics shit, but look at, I mean, that's a joke review, so whatever. So 6 out of 10 to me is good, but just going by, like, critic standards, 6 out of 10 is generally not seen as, like, good. And that's where I was wrong. A lot of them are saying not only is it not good, it's mediocre, which I guess I did say it would be mediocre, but once again, to me, mediocre isn't always, like, bad. It just means you're average. I don't know. I guess maybe I was kind of on the dot there, too. I pretty much called this game to a T. There wasn't a whole lot I was wrong about it with. We'll see with the multiplayer. We got to let the multiplayer come out. I'll give it that. But overall, like, I'm sorry to say, but I think I was pretty much right on this. I know I said I was going to say what I was right on wrong about, and then basically I just ended up being like, no, I was right about everything. But it's like, yeah, I was. To be honest, like, I'm not trying to have an ego about it either. I seriously thought, like, I guess I said it would be good. But, so let me say that. I said it would be good. It appears as though I was wrong on that. and not in a good way though. Like, I don't want to be wrong about. Look, remember, I want this game to be good. Like, I like Xbox, and I like, Xbox getting new exclusives. Xbox needs exclusives. PlayStation destroys them in exclusives, and Nintendo destroys them in exclusives. I didn't want this game to suck, but I'm just telling it like it is. This game, haven't played it, keep that in mind, looks like it fucking sucks. Like, it just looks mediocre. I agree with that now. I said it would be good. I'm looking at it now that it's come out. I've seen videos and stuff, and I'm saying, no, it doesn't even look good. It looks average or less than. And that's really unfortunate. But I called it with the red flags. You don't show your gameplay. You don't do commercials for it. You get many delays and then ask for more, and the company says, no, we're not giving you more. 3 red flags right there. Anyways, that's going to do it for this Spicy Salsa podcast. I have been, I am Brock O'Clock. Just a couple quick plugs. You can, as you can see there, you can follow me on, here, we'll go here. You can follow me on Twitch at Brock O'Clock. Twitter at Spicy Salsa Gaming is our official channel. At Brock O'Clock is my personal account. I use that one more. And subscribe here on the YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube at Spicy Salsa Gaming. And thank you everybody for watching. This has been the 10th Spicy Salsa podcast. And I will hopefully see you on the 11th one.